And welcome back to another episode of the Business is Pleasure podcast with myself, the co-owner of the Clarendon Trading Company, John L. Francis. Also, with the Baddie, you guys already know, the Baddie, the co-owner as well. See, I didn't forget.
That was so embarrassing.
You're a co-owner slash co-founder. I did not forget.
Thank you.
Colette, my wifey for lifey. You guys know the usual already. So the best way to start the show off, like we do every single week. How was your week, babe? Fill me in a bit.
So my week was good. I spent a lot of preparation as usual, preparing for our event that we had this weekend. But I feel like the first bit of my week started out a little bit like rough, I guess.
Yeah. Why?
I was just like experiencing a lot of doubts. Like I was just, I was just like doubting myself. I was doubting my process. I was doubting the fact that like I need to be patient when it comes to a lot of things, and I just wanted it all right now. That's my problem sometimes.
So you sound like a human.
Yeah.
It's regular issues, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though, because like sometimes it's like a lack of like results allows you to like get in this phase like, oh my gosh, like this isn't working out, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like what you're saying, it's like being patient, following your process and your path. Hopefully, like, you become more comfortable with that idea, and then that some of that anxiety hopefully like subsides just a bit or whatever. So like in issues like that, like how do you like deal with it or whatever,
I don't know, because like at the end of the day, like I know myself and I know that like I can do whatever I want to do in the world, and I think that's sometimes what is hard for me, because I know if like anything that I put my mind to, I'll be successful at it. So sometimes I'm just worried that maybe I'm putting my mind and my energy towards the wrong thing. But, and it's not to say that we aren't getting results, like we are. It's just like I want everything right now.
Yeah, everything all at once.
I want everything like fast and right away. And I want like some level of certainty. And like when you're going into entrepreneurship, like you have the potential to create and do so much more than like say like working like a 9-to-5 job.
Potentially, of course.
Potentially, yeah, that's what I just said, like potentially. But there's like also so much more risk involved, and there's also like there's no like handbook to like give to your friends and family to be like, hey, like this is how you should talk to me, because I'm starting a business and I'm fragile, there isn't like people don't know what to say. Like obviously your friends and family want the best for you, but like there's gonna be times when they're like, oh, like why are you doing this still, or like oh, like
you're dead that.
Yeah, you know what I
mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like it can be hard because you have to figure out a way to believe in yourself when sometimes like you're the only person that does.
No, 100%. And it's kind of crazy though, because like I feel as if like I'm kind of the opposite, because like with you, like you love like letting people know like how your life is going, like what you have going on and stuff.
Not necessarily. They ask.
Yeah, so like you do tell them.
I actually don't, to be honest.
You don't, yeah? Okay. I know nothing about you then. Like, I can't know nothing about you.
I don't really tell people about what I'm doing unless they ask. And they just tend to ask, so that's why. But.
Yeah, but for me though, when I think with situations like that, I don't care, man.
You never care.
Yeah, like that's just what my personality is, like, and that's why I think that sometimes I'm more comfortable being in business, is just because like a lot of negativity is going to constantly be thrown your way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's not necessarily directly from your friends or like close family members, it might be from like the audience that you're trying to engage with, maybe it's from a client, maybe it's from a competitor or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think like once you're in business, you're always so vulnerable and open to like some type of attack, because it's like, it's your baby, And like when people like either get at the business or they get at you directly, you feel that and you're like, crap, like, And sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm perfect or whatever. Like, sometimes things do affect me, but I try not to, 8 out of 10 times I won't get affected, I won't be bothered by it. But those two, like, it's gonna happen regardless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, the good thing about business, what I appreciate though, is like, you always have a fighter's chance, you know what I mean? It's just one punch away, You're just one connection away, one lead away, one sale away from being hopefully at the point where you want to be within your business, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like if we don't get comfortable with that process that we're doing and the path that we're taking, then despite what happens, like, we're never going to be able to really enjoy the business no matter what,
That is very true, but I think like at the end of the day, what it comes down to is it's always going to be a day by day thing. You know what I mean? Like, today I feel great. Today I had a really good day. And, like, I worked on a lot of really good and productive things for the business. But that may change tomorrow. You know, tomorrow I may feel different. And it's something that's, you kind of have to give yourself, like, a little bit of grace with, to know that, like, yeah, you may feel sad or, like, discouraged or disappointed about your business today, but that doesn't mean that that's how you're going to feel tomorrow. And how you feel, of course, unless you have some sort of, like, you know, mental health issues or whatever, but how you feel is dependent on, like, you and the choices that you make and how you decide to look at a certain situation. So
no, 100%.
I think, like, for me, like, that's the thing that I'm trying to focus on, that, like, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. Like, that's just part of running a business.
And hopefully, like, you look at it like accumulative, right?
Of
so
course,
you hope that, let's say there's 10 days, hopefully you have 6 out of those good days and only 4 bad days. Because over time, like, you know, you're like, okay, well, you know what? 60% of the time, I'm able to be successful and happy. That's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
That's a very good life. So in terms of, like, ensuring that your life can be, like, run accordingly and, like, have a good outcome in the long run, what things do you think the way that, like, you run your business, or why did you want to run a business? Was it for, like, anything to do with, like, your lifestyle, anything to
like,
do
why
with
did I want to start a business in the first place?
Yeah.
I think for me, like, it just came down to, like, security.
But it's so funny you say that, because, like, there is no security running a business.
But there is eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know, it's like a balancing act, right?
Yeah, like, there is a point where, like, you eventually have some sort of security. Because, like, for myself personally, like, I've always felt that, like, it's really important to have multiple sources of income. So even if, like our business is going to be one of our main sources of income, it already is, but that's not our only source of income, you know what I mean? Like, I would never want to solely depend on anything. And for me, like, that was one of my biggest motivators for wanting to start a business, because it would allow me to have some sort of flexibility and freedom in reference to my finances and more control. Because, like, if your sole job is your main source of income, you could go in one day and they could be like, hey, sorry, like, we're making
let
cuts.
you go, Bob.
Yeah, like, Bob, sorry, like, it's not gonna work out anymore, you know? So that was just something that I was never comfortable with. Like, I was never comfortable being like, yeah, I have one source of income, that's it.
Yeah.
And I want to have, like, financial freedom and, like, independence with my time and my money to do more, and to do the things that I want to do. Like, I've always had, this is, like, so dramatic, but, like,
let me hear it.
I've always had this this, like,
vision, dream.
Yeah, like, a feeling, and I've always wanted to be able to. It's really stupid. Obviously, like, I have more, like, goals and feelings.
Baby, you don't have to justify.
I know, but I don't want people to be like, seriously, like, what?
Don't worry.
Honestly, I'm probably making it worse. All this build up.
Yeah, it's too late now.
So I want to be able to buy fresh flowers every day. And I don't think that's much to ask.
Oh yeah,
you
that's
know?
one of your dreams. Yeah, that is one of your dreams.
You know, and, like, to me, that's something that's really important. Don't ask me why. It just is. And, like,
you are wearing a flower dress.
Yeah, I always have, like, flowers, but I just want to be able to do things like that. I want to be able to, like, if there is some sort of, like, crisis in the world.
You have such, like, a humble dream, though.
What do you mean?
Like, you're like, oh, I just want to get fresh flowers every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I want a Porsche. I want to go to Dubai in the morning and then France in the afternoon.
First off, he's lying.
Like, you know, But in general, like, when people think about
like,
their dreams or whatever, that's really good.
That's the feeling that I want to have when I'm like, yes, like, I'm at the epitome of who I want to be as a person. Like, I want to be able to do those things. I want to be able to, like, if I can help someone, help them and not have to worry about, oh, like, can I pay my rent, or, like, can my kids eat? Like, I want to be able to help. I want to be able to do things for other people and better myself and others through
the financial.
Yeah, through, like, the finances and the security that I've built up for myself, you know?
Yeah, and that's really good too, because I think for myself, one of the major things that I was always worried about in, like, working in a job was that, like, would my credentials be enough? You know, do I have to go back to school to get, like, a better position? Do I have to worry about one of my coworkers maybe taking my position because, like, you know, they have better relationships with management and stuff like that? And I never liked the idea where it's like your life and, like, your finances were always in someone else's hands, you know what I mean? If I wanted to make more money, I would have to take extra shifts. If I want to, like, you know, like, get a better position at my workplace, I would have to eventually, like, you know, do courses or X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying those things are bad, but in terms of a career, I don't want that for my career, you know? For me, I've always wanted a career where it's like I dictate what my days are like, and it's solely on me, you know? If I want more money, I better figure out a way to make sure the business is run more efficiently, so then in turn, we can have more money for ourselves, you know? If I wanted to take a break, if I want to take days off, that's up on me, you know? So for me, I really like just the whole idea of being free, and just like, instead of security, like what you wanted, I will also wanted responsibility over my own life, you know, and autonomy. Just, you know, like, hey, Friday the 5th, I don't want to go to work because I have to do something for my family, you know? So, like, just to have that freedom as much as I can, that's one thing I've always wanted to hold on to. And that's one thing that really pushes me to continue on to be a business owner. Because right now, I think, like what we talked about, like, you have to make a sacrifice in your life, so you know that, hey, in the long term, this is gonna be helpful, so I can get X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think with us, we're in uncomfortable positions in terms of our careers. Where it's not like we hate our jobs or we don't like what we do. We know that we could be utilizing our skills on doing other things. Yeah. You know, and I think we both understand that. But of course, I'm grateful of my job. You know what I mean? All the money that I'm able to make from that one job, I put into my business, helped my business to grow. Yeah. So I can hopefully leave my job. Yeah. You know.
And
so
also
nice.
too, with all that being said, like, even though I am focused on our businesses, I don't. It's not like I've never seen myself having a job at any like a stereotypical type of job, or like what most people think of as a job at any point. I do
employment. Let's say employment.
Yeah, employment. Yeah. I do, but it's just not something that's my passion. Yeah. Or like
because like we even like you spoke on it briefly, right? Like multiple sources of income. Yeah. It would be foolish for us to like. Well, anyways, for our theories anyway, you know, multiple sources of income is important. It would be foolish for us to stop working those full-time jobs just because we don't want to do it anymore, you know? Yeah. Then we're totally defeating the idea of like multiple sources of income, you know?
Exactly. And I think like both of us at this point, at least, we understand that it benefits ourselves personally as well as our businesses to have another source of income at this time, so that all the money can go back into the business and help it grow even more faster.
Sacrifices, right? Sacrifices.
Exactly.
So in terms of the business and allowing it to grow and everything, I think one major issue that we were having was like, how do we create content that we can give to our demographic and they can really appreciate it and like it, you know? Mm-hmm. So we had ideas to do certain photo shoots. We had ideas to maybe put things together. Yeah. But I think with us, we were more so really focused on other things, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make excuses because we were moving really slow and we shouldn't have. But we were fortunate enough to get connected with a new photographer. I saw some of his work, really good, does it really well. And he's going to be putting essentially like a lookbook together for us and everything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Like, what are your ideas on it and everything?
I'm actually super excited because I've always believed that if you can't do something yourself, then get someone else to do it for you. And like, I feel like both of us have been kind of going back and forward with the whole like photography stuff for a really long time. Not necessarily because we were being lazy, but because we
didn't make it a priority.
We didn't make a priority, and two, like, we are artists. We're both artistic, but in different ways. Yeah. So like, you're artistic in reference to like music.
You don't even know. You were struggling for like 2 seconds. You're like, what's he good at? You were like searching your head.
Okay, honestly, I was. But you are artistic. It's just not on the forefront of my like thought all the time.
Whatever. But I'm offended now because you're basically saying I'm not creative. But whatever. Go ahead.
You are creative.
No, I'm not.
Okay, let me talk then. So you're artistic in reference to your fashion, your sense of style. You love cooking. That's a form of art.
I'm pretty funny too. Comedy's a form of art.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. You redeemed yourself.
You're begging to be funny right now.
Go ahead.
How dare you call yourself funny?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're artistic in a lot of different ways, as am I. But I feel like when it came to creating kind of like an idea of what we wanted our business to look like,
we knew what we wanted to look like, but we didn't know how to actually.
We didn't know how to translate that into an actual like photo shoot or like pictures for Instagram or our social media or marketing in any way. So I think having somebody else take that over for us was a really beneficial and smart move for us. So
and the thing I like about it too is that like he actually seems as if he's genuinely interested in this whole campaign that he wants to put together.
Yeah.
And he actually like respects our company, and I really like that. You know what I mean? When you can actually like give someone value, and they're also giving you value in return because they understand the importance of the company is to you, and they actually value the company as well too.
And
right?
he's like, and honestly, he's giving us back. He's giving us so many things. Like,
Yeah.
one, we're getting great content, and two, like, it's freeing up a lot of time for us to focus on doing what we
Yes.
do best.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're thinking of, doing more shows per month, for example. You know what I mean? Like, giving us the opportunity to free up more of our time instead of, sitting down trying to figure out like a lookbook or, different like images or shots for our social media and stuff like that. We can focus on going to more shows and selling more product and doing things that we like doing. So.
Yeah, and instead of like having to organize a lookbook that could take like a bunch of hours, we can, that time now can be used for other things and everything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's really, really nice. One other thing that I think would be really cool is in terms of like how we have the new content going to be coming for the photography as well.
Yeah.
But also finding different ways how we can expand on actually having a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've dabbled and had ideas about like how we can do that, and I think one major thing or one cool idea would be having different different guests appear on the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about it, like we're like what 28 and 27, and how much people do you know that are entrepreneurs or in a relationship with
So
an entrepreneur or people who have ideas to start something, you know what I mean?
So many.
So I think aside from like talking about how our week has been going, giving people like little tidbits about how they can get their business running, I think it'd be nice to also share other people's stories as well too. Like, yo, come join the couch, bro.
Yeah, join the couch.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. And just like getting an understanding of other people's experiences, because at the end of the day, I feel like we as people in general, we experience a lot of things the same. Like there's a lot of similarities between people. Like there's very few differences between your average person, and I feel like it's just really important to.
What's that expression? There's more that we have.
There's more
than separates us. Whatever. How's it go? There's more that we have in common than actually separates us.
I don't think that's it, but I know what you're talking about.
You're just a hater, man. And that is it. That is it. Don't do that.
Okay,
that is
we'll check.
Well, that is
We'll
it.
check after. But at the end of the day, I feel like as people, we have so many things that we have in common and, attributes that we share. So I think that, having like other people on our podcast and other guests to kind of share in the discussion, it just creates more relatability for people and something else that they can connect to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think like a positive effect that would have for us as well too is that one, the cross collaboration. So us promoting the video, them being on us, we're introducing our demographic to them, and also of course like we're being introduced as well to a new demographic, and when they share it as well too, right?
Yeah.
So, and also again, it like what it does too, it also expands our horizon of people that we do know, because by constantly introducing new people into our show, then we're being spread out even further.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's nice, man. It's exciting. I think it's a really good idea, but I think now it's just like who, because I know you and I both have a bunch of minds in that, bunch of people in mind, but it's like, but like who though? Like who exactly should we pick? But I don't know. I think
like
trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error, and that's something we'll figure out over time. Because at the end of the day, like we both know a ton of people off the top of our head.
Yeah, because essentially at first I was like, oh, maybe it should just be vintage, or like clothing, or just retail.
No.
But it's like why? Like like open it up.
Business is business.
And like everyone goes through hardships in business. You know what I mean?
Business is business.
I may not understand your product, but maybe I can understand your process.
Exactly. Business is business. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
No, 100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the business and business being business and stuff or whatever, what am I looking for now? Oh, how do you feel about the show that we did this past weekend? It wasn't one of the biggest shows that we've ever had, but I think per capita, we did really well on the sales aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, how do you feel about like doing bigger shows? We don't necessarily sell or meet as much people as we generally would for bigger shows.
Yeah.
But it still allows us to interact with our client base, introduce us to new and emerging markets and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think at the end of the day, like, getting out there, getting in the community is always a good thing. It's a great way to meet new people, a great way to also like establish real and authentic connections with people, whether that be customers or other businesses, just so they know who Clarendon Co is and like the faces behind the business a little bit more as well. So I think that's also really important, and it's something that we get to do a little bit more at smaller shows as opposed to larger shows, which is nice. This past event was pretty good. It was in the heart of Kensington Market, which is right smack dab in the middle of our
like vintage headquarters in all of Canada.
Our demographic. So it was really nice to see like just the community essentially. So I think like overall, like maybe the sales were a little bit lower than we're used to, but we still did well. We still made a profit. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And I think it was a good show.
For me, I thought it was a good show. I remember watching this interview with J. Cole, and he said he doesn't expect. He likes doing shows sometimes where it's only like 500 audience because it allows him to be more intimate. He can connect with the audience better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when he does like a show where it's 20,000 people, he knows that's a different dynamic. You know?
Yeah.
So I think for each show that we do, it's nice that we can still find value in whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's a bit like discouraging when you're like, holy crap, like only 200 people came through the whole store today or whatever, you know? When we do some shows, it's like 5,000-6,000 people that are there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's nice that like we don't ever change, you know?
No.
We're constantly consistent. We're always engaging, always
Yeah.
letting people know about our products and our business as well too, right?
Yeah.
So if we allow the shows to change our character, you know, we essentially become our own enemy, you know?
Yeah.
So it's nice that like as much as it is annoying, it's not as rewarding. But we know like, hey, we gotta remain consistent no matter what or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
So like, despite of the show, it's like it doesn't matter about the people. It's always about us. It's always about us, you know. It's like when we say like, oh, like some people are like, oh man, I don't want to be beside someone else that's selling clothes as well, and we're like, no, like
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like like. We can sell like what's like salt to a snail. Like I don't care. Like it's about us.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard that one?
No.
Man,
I guess
you don't get out.
Snails don't like salt?
Yeah, they'll like shrivel up and die and stuff.
Oh crap.
Yeah. I teach you stuff all the time, babe.
Yeah,
I got you.
dude. Thanks, dude.
Even though you don't think I'm creative, but it's
I think
it's
you're
fine.
creative.
No, you don't. No, you
Okay.
Don't. No, you don't. Okay, so before we go, because we gotta wrap this up soon. Is there any final words, any final thoughts you maybe wanna discuss for next week?
I think one thing that I've been kind of playing with my head is just like the actual fact that we're posting our podcast. Because before we were just doing it and we're like, okay, like let's see where this goes. But now we're actually like putting it on YouTube and putting it like other places. So I think something that we can discuss next week is just like, how do you feel about that? Like, how is that feeling for you?
Yeah, okay.
Because I know how it's feeling for me, but we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
So.
I think that's gonna be a really good topic or whatever. It kind of, but I'm not gonna get into it too deep. Because I'm saying for next week, it's like, just do it, just do shit.
No, legit.
Just do shit, man. Just do shit. But it is what it is. Okay, and I guess for me, for my final words, are gonna be like and share this podcast, guys, so we know that you care.
Yeah, the usual.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. This is actually really monumental, guys. This is episode 21 of the Business is Pleasure podcast.
Woo!
For the longest time, we had like so much uncertainty of like what content should we create to try and like put out there and everything. But for the most part, we've had like really good reviews so far. Like honestly, we haven't had a lot of like views, but we've had the reviews that we did have, like for my friends and family. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate it, you know. But until next week, guys. Peace.
Bye.